Hi, my name's Penny, and as usual, I'm here to talk about some bookish things specifically. I thought that since Gavin is doing his Believathon Readathon next month, which is all about reading magical middle grade books, that's a great excuse for me to talk about some of the middle grade books that I've read and loved. So the first book I want to talk about is The Rithmatist by Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite adult authors, but he did actually write a single middle grade book. It's supposed to be the beginning of the series, but the second book has kind of got lost, and who knows when he's going to finish it. But potentially, if more people read it, that will encourage him to continue the series. And as well, I do think the first book is enough of a story that you can actually read it and get enough enjoyment out of it, even if he never gets around to finishing the series. And I'm sure he will. I think what he said is that he just wanted to do a lot more research because this is set in a dystopian future set on Earth, and I believe he's hoping to pull in a lot of different cultures, but he wants to do a good job of it, which I respect. So what is The Rithmatist about? Basically, as I said, it's a dystopian future where the United States have kind of broken up into all these separate islands, and people are being plagued by these chalk monsters. And there are also rithmatists who are able to draw protections against these chalk monsters. Our main character is this boy named Joel, who is the son of a chalk maker at this fancy rithmatist school. Unfortunately, he's not able to be a rithmatist, but then some students start disappearing, and he gets involved in the investigation about what's going on. Obviously, this book has an amazing magic system, as Brandon Sanderson creates in all his adult books, but this was a really cool middle grade take on that. And I think as well, he has a really good look at how you can still be valuable even if you're not someone who has these amazing powers. Then I also have a couple of spooky middle grade books because it is October right now, the spooky season. And to be honest, I like spooky books all the time. So firstly, I have the Cassidy Blake series by Victoria Schwab. This is the second book, Tunnel of Bones, and I've only just read about a chapter of this, but I did read the first book, City of Ghosts, when it came out, and I really enjoyed that. So this series follows a girl named Cassidy Blake. She almost drowned, but was saved by a ghost, and now she's able to see ghosts. And as well as that, her parents are actually filming a documentary series about ghosts, so they are taking her from haunted city to haunted city. So the first book is set in Edinburgh and has a look at the ghosts in Edinburgh, and then this one is set in Paris. I think this is a fun series for anyone who likes things that just a little bit creepy. It's still middle grade, so it doesn't get too scary, but if you like your middle grade to be a little bit spooky, then this is a good option. Then there's also Doll Bones by Holly Black. So this is a story about three friends that play with dolls and create stories around those dolls. One of the friends is a boy, and his father starts pressuring him to stop playing with dolls and to try and keep him engaged in the storytelling. One of his friends steals this china doll that supposedly has real bones in it, and they decide they're going to go and bury this doll. They go on a bit of a journey, and while they're at it, of course, they learn about themselves. I thought that the way it addressed the issues of growing up and doing things you enjoy regardless of what other people think was really well done. It is also actually quite scary in some points, so it's another spooky middle grade book. Although I have to say, I was so mad at the boy's father when I was reading this book. I just wanted to slap him. Then I also wanted to talk about a few middle grade books that I've read more recently. Firstly, we have The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. This follows a runaway orphan who jumps on a train, ends up in a strange town where there is a circus. He meets a bunch of friends who all like to do magic, and they discover a criminal plot that some of the circus performers are attempting to pull off, which then they attempt to get in the way of that plot. I really enjoyed the diversity and the message of friendship in this book, and also throughout this book it has different magic lessons, so you can learn a few different magic tricks throughout this book, and I am actually excited to see that as the series continues whether you can learn more and more magic. I was a bit busy when I read this, but I really would like to go through and see if I could learn to do the magic myself. I would quite like to be a magician, but I'm a bit clumsy probably. I hope that real magic, when I finally get my real magical powers, I hope my clumsiness doesn't stop me from being able to do real magic. Another book that I've read recently and quite enjoyed was Tilly and the Book Wanderers, Pages and Co. So this is a book series about a family that is able to go into books. So we have this young girl, Tilly, who starts running into characters from books, so primarily Anne of Green Gables and Alice in Wonderland. And then she discovers that she can go into books, and in fact there is a whole society of people who are able to do this book wandering. This is another one where it's a series, and I really do want to continue the series to see what else the author does with the concept, because it was such a cool idea. Especially, there's a few things which it would be spoilers to talk about, but I think it did some really interesting things. Then we have Holes by Louis Sacher. So this is about a boy named Stanley Yelnats. He gets sent to this detention center for boys where every day they have to dig a hole, and it becomes clear that they're actually looking for something. And throughout the story is also little snippets of other stories in the past, and eventually all those stories link together in a really fun way. I will say there are a few bits in this story where I'm not sure about how race is being dealt with. There's some good parts, but there's just a couple of bits where it was a bit, so that's something to watch out for. But it is a fun story that I think is totally worth reading. Then lastly, I couldn't really have a video talking about middle grade books that I love without talking about the Babysitters Club. Now, I realize that I'm kind of just being the old lady recommending books from her childhood, and perhaps some of these aren't as relevant now as they were when I was a child. But that said, these are the first 5 books in the series, and there's something like 100 and something books in the series. I think I only own the first 50-ish, but these books just cover a lot of topics that I think young girls around this age are likely to relate to. Even now, I want to say even now, but I'm not really sure. I kind of think that maybe in November I might have a go at rereading some more of these. They have also been re-releasing some of these as graphic novels, and I read a couple of those. I would like to read some more of those as well. These were by far my favorite books when I was a middle grade type person, and I know that I learned a lot from reading these books. So I think they'd still be worth picking up. I don't know. If you have read the Babysitters Club books, let me know what some of your favorites were. And in November, I think I will have a go at rereading some of the Babysitters Club books, and maybe I will consider picking up some ones that you suggest. But anyway, that's it for some of my favorite middle grade books. Do let me know down in the comments some of your favorite middle grade books. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.